Howdy, howdy, folks. Welcome to Babble with Bronies. So glad you can join us here today. I am your host. My name is Everlasting Joy. Along with my good friends and coworkers, Mr. Ben and Twilight is Magic, we want to thank you all for stopping by today. Just a few things I want to quickly put up here. My monitor, the second monitor that I always use, the DC adapter decided to blow up on Friday at the latest that I know of. So if you see me looking way over here all the time, that's because I'm using my television as my second monitor. I put some of the stuff you don't see on the second monitor, or in this case the television, such as my show notes and all that fun jazz. So if you see me looking over here a lot, that's why. One other thing before we get started. Oh, don't mind the fan behind me if you can see it. It's moving into a new place before school starts, so so the circulation is poor and the temperature outside is hot. So don't mind the fan; it just needs to run. Yeah, I turned my head away from the camera to read. But anyway, enough of my personal problems. That pun is terrible, Tim. Anyway, terrible puns and personal problems aside, let's get started. Oh, and yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic week for me, so bear with me if it all kind of seems off. But I tried to patch together everything that I could. Starting off with some news. Season 1 on DVD of MLP is heading to our good friends in Europe. They are finally getting a complete set on DVD of Season 1 for those living in the United Kingdom. I wanted to cover this because I can't tell you how many people from said countries come to me and tell me about some of this stuff, so I thought I would finally say this. So, for those of you living in the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, Wales, there you go. There's Season 1 on DVD for you. If you want to go that route anyway. In other news, speaking of DVDs, A Brony Tale, the one Ashley Ball has been, hope I pronounced that correctly. You can buy it on DVD now. So if you have wanted to see her personal take on her experiences in the Brony fandom, here's your chance. Check it out. As far as I know, it's released. Actually, I don't know where it's released, but the point is if you're interested, there you go. And last on our news bit concerning movies in particular, episode 6 of the Brony documentary has been released. So, if you want to check this out, check it out. This is episode 6. What did it say? Hayden Swan? Yeah. I didn't get a good chance to look at it, but again, check it out. Check it out, support it. And, moving along here. One thing that I do want to mention for the last time, or actually the second to last time, and something I'm going to spend a little bit of time on here. Remember, everyone, Cinema Equestria is hiring people. We are looking for people who would be interested in streaming for us. So if either you or somebody you know would be interested in doing streams for us, whether they be new episode streams, general streams, just random stuff, or maybe you have something like Babble with Bronies here, a podcast or something like that. If you have that or know someone who might be interested, send them to this link because we have only one full week left. The last day to apply for this is going to be August 31st, and at midnight Eastern Standard Time, September 1st, we will be closing those applications. So, I'm going to stress that again. If you or anyone you know knows of someone who would want to stream for us, please send them to this link, fill it out, and we will look it over. If we like what we see, we'll move on. But the last day for this to apply is August 31st, as we will be closing September 1st. All right. And last on the news, actually, I think I'm going to save that for when we get there in the art. But yeah, let's move on. So, art or videos first, folks? Hi, Zenstroke. By the way, how's the connection on your guys' end? I'm running through a wired connection now, and I hope that works much better. 3, 4, 5. So 6-0 art. We're going with art. So I'm going to start off with, since I can correlate between these two. Our first piece is by a new guy, Andy Price Art, MLP FF8 Part 6, done. This one was something sent in by Twilight is Magic, for the record. So thank him for recommending that I show this. Now, where does this one lead to? Well, speaking of FF8, that's Friends Forever. Number 8 has been released. Before I get to the art itself, Friends Forever number 8 has been released. This is Rarity and Applejack as what the Friends Forever series, if you don't know, it's the comic series. And they pair 2 or more characters up together, those who might not normally be together. They pair them up and send them off on a story. Here is the link to all of the places you can find the comics, such as on Comixology, which I highly recommend, iTunes, and of course, maybe some other places. If you find them in a comic book store, then hooray, then you can pick it up there. But, in the meantime, let's talk about this cover. First of all, I just want to point out that Rarity's outfit, I know we've already hit upon it in Over a Barrel with Pinky, but I'm going to say this. I think Rarity wears it just a little bit better. Not much, but just a little bit. But obviously capturing an old Western feel to it, he did a really good job with that sepia tone. Let's see, what else could I say here? I always love his little attention to details, such as in the background there, the poster is behind Rarity's head is one of Chrysalis with a wanted poster, and the one behind Spike's head, I can't tell, it looks like a bull or maybe a minotaur, but that's another story. Anyway, what do you guys have to say? Best barkeep. Rain Shadow. Opal's like, I don't get paid enough to do this. Wait till we get to the actual comics, Mr. Ben. Here is the link. MLP FF8 Part 6 done by Andy Price Art. And yes, as Tim pointed out, the Andy Price, the one who helped create the Friendship Friends Forever number 8. Let's move on, shall we? Oh, which one do I want? Which one do I want? Which one? Which one? Oh, okay. It's toxic time. Yellow.
Hey.
Hey, hey.
That was weird. My phone was pinging off at the same time that you called me.
Weird. Indeed.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Can you hear me at all?
Yes.
Perfect. Then, yes. This first one is, so, you want to fight me?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Okay, well, the picture, I decided to try something a little bit different this time because I wanted to try... I haven't done a behind the back thing from any one of the DBZ ones, but I don't know why I settled on this one only because I just want something with rarity in it, but at the same time this is redoing the old one that I did. Now the strange thing is I never originally intended to have her holding an orb like that. What I wanted to do is I actually wanted to have like a fire back pose, which is basically push that left arm over the right hoof and just make something like that. So it'd be really cool. But the problem is when I started sketching that up, it was gonna get too chaotic, and her face would be drowned out in the amount of light that I would have there, so it wouldn't look good at all.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, I had this thing at BronyCon, so this one I've had for just a little bit. But this one trying to figure out how to word this. It basically was one of the more trickier ones I've done recently.
Because of the posing?
It's a very low angle pose, and I haven't actually ever experimented bending her back right leg like that. I never tried bending. I never done squat poses in a sense.
There's a slight pun in that last statement there.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. But overall, I mean, this was definitely one of the... it definitely was one of the more trickier ones. I'm very pleased with how it came out, because I didn't get as many comments, or weirder comments, if you can imagine. BronyCon or anything else. This actually was one of my... Everybody was like, oh, how well did this print do it? Surprisingly, she did okay. I was actually expecting a little better, but at the same time, I think... I don't know why, but I mean, I'm very pleased with the way it came out. It's just, I know for a fact I'm tempted to redo a lot of the main 6 ones even next year, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but this one was definitely one of the more unique ones that I've had to do.
If you want the weird comments, just look in the chat right now.
Yeah, I've been thinking. I saw the one, which is like, I saw one of them. Rain Shadows making some really good ones.
Anything else you want to say about this one?
Not too much. It was actually just one of my more trickier ones I've had to do. I was very pleased with the way it came out. It's just it's very straightforward, and I'll just tell you this much: trying to draw her hair is like one of the most pain in the ass things I've ever had to try and do.
I bet.
Because this is like, I'm trying to like overly perfect the line art in this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the trickiest thing was trying to get not just the mane, it was trying to position the tail, because I've noticed if you look at the show, it's very weird with her tail. They don't cover any of her backside, but I try to cover a little bit as much as I could without, because I try and stick to as much what the show does. Mm-hmm. But again, I can't really balance it out too much because I kind of beef up these ponies a little bit. So it's like it is what it is. But this pose and just the overall feel of this picture, I had no idea what I was going to do on the background. This actually just literally was very fortunate of how lucky this all turned out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not to say that I'm not pleased with it. I'm freaking pleased as hell with this thing.
Alrighty then. Shall we move on?
Sure.
Alright, this next one is a sentimental moment.
Yes.
I love your puns. I really do.
Yeah, that was a good pun that someone made in my in my stream. I was like, I gotta use that for a title. Totally taking that one.
Shall I? No one speaks, so should I go through it?
Yeah,
with
you
the
can just go through it. Yeah.
All right.
Just let me know when you get to the bottom of it.
Nice eye on the detail with Pinky's hair.
Yeah, well, I've never done Philly Pinky's hair like that. I usually stick to the show style, but this I had to keep it back in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a really attention to detail. That actual cake piece is the exact same cake from the actual episode when they walk into the party. That's like super attention to detail.
Good deal. So yeah, what can you tell us about this one?
Well, I'm definitely on a run with dog comics, to put it that way. And right now, like, I don't know, I want a comic that I never actually got a reasoning. I've been meaning to do this one for a while, and I can never figure out how I want to do it. But the one about this one was I was realizing, how come she's not shown in the original party, but then in the picture frame she's shown down there. So I wanted something like she would have to be up in a room either missing out on it. But I think this one, I've gotten a lot of weird comments about her showing too much emotion with Maud, but I'm like, no. I think that just developed over time.
I'd be inclined to agree with you on that one.
So it's like, it's one of those things. I mean, it's a mysterious character, but even in the actual picture frame, you see she actually has happy emotions, stuff like that. But the thing is, like, what I want to do is I want to eventually. I'm very tempted. I'm going to convert that last panel, the one they have there with the hugging one. I'm definitely going to put that as a print for future conventions for sure.
Good deal.
But the thing is, I think the one thing that made it very tricky with this comic, if you notice if you have to think about it for a second, have you ever thought that in the entire the show, they haven't shown the actual house from the inside? There's a very small glimmer of it, but you never seen the rooms. So what I did is I, in a sense, based this entire room off Apple Bloom's room, recolored everything, but then added a lot of original stuff to it. So like basically, the foundation of it is there. It's just I completely retooled everything with it.
Okay.
It was, let me put it that way, that was definitely one of the hardest backgrounds there. I'm not going to lie about this. This is kind of exaggerating, I'm not, but not including DBZ pony pictures. For comic-wise, this was by far the hardest comic I've had to work on this year.
Dang.
This is
so far.
This is, I mean, I don't think I'm going to work on it, because this thing, I had to do everything completely original.
Wow.
And it's not like I don't do everything original, it's more like this was a new level, because you don't see her room.
Right.
So I had to build a farmhouse, which is what their house is, on top of what the Apple family's farmhouse is. It's very similar, but I tweaked a lot of it up, because they aren't as wealthy, I would imagine. Right. So I only had to have certain things in it. I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely one of my more prouder comics.
It works wonders. It works wonders.
Oh no, I was actually very happy. I actually thought about adding one type of dialogue in there at the very last panel, like a thank you, but I decided to leave it out. I mean, right now, like I said, I'm on this run right now with dog comics, and I'm doing another one, and then I got 2 comedy comics after this one.
Nice.
So they're all good. No, but then it's gonna be a blast. I'll tell you that much.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, man.
Oh yeah, and then I got DBZ Applejack next week, and then I got the comic.
Sounds good.
No, it's comic next week. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. But we'll be showing DBZ AJ as well because of.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's right. It is DBZ AJ and comic. That's right.
Yep. It's all right. Thanks a lot, Tox.
Yep, no problem. And I guess I'm back to working on DBZ Pinkie Pie.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Okay, I'll just chill in the chat. I'll catch you a little bit later.
Later.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, Toxic Mario. All right. Now then. What do I want to go with next? I can't believe how few art pieces I have this week. Don't worry though, we've got a lot of enough videos to compensate. But why don't we go with this one next? This is someone we haven't had in a long time, but Epic Rainbow Crafts posted this on sometime during the week, and I just had to pick it up. Officer Rainbow Dash plushie by Epic Rainbow Crafts. Not hard to see why I wanted this one on. I've been showing his work here from time to time, and maybe not often enough. But one thing I will say is I always love it when plushie artists in particular go overboard with things like this outfit and the sunglasses. That's what really stuck out to me here. And that's one of the reasons why I like showing his work. He always somehow manages to impress me by doing something with the details to the plushies. And this being a prime case of it. Hey, him. Duh. Mr. Ben. This is Epic Rainbow Crafts Officer Rainbow Dash plushie. Alright, let's move on. This next one by a new guy sent in via Twilight is Magic. Colonel 762's Ascending. Not hard to see why I wanted this one on as well. What drew me to this one were the colors on her mane and tail, the good use of lens flare, and the blurriness to it. I don't know if you can see it. I'll balloon it up here a bit. The reason I like that blurriness so much is it gives us the good illusion that we are actually in the clouds with her. It's cold, misty, lighting and atmosphere. Really, really pretty. Really well done, and I absolutely love this. All right. There's the image. Of course, comment, favorite it. Give the person some love, people. This is Ascending by Colonel 762. And this next one Sorry about that, folks. This next one I think we will go with is titled A Fancy Reunion by Zabchan. This is another one sent in by Twilight is Magic. He sent me quite a few of them this week, so give him a lot of kudos here, folks. He did a nice job with this. And for the record, this should give you an idea of just how vast and how far he goes when it comes to hunting for art. It still to this day impresses me. I saw this one and I absolutely adored it because of the outfits, among other things, of course. Zabchan did a very nice job of the detailing with the outfits, and something I'm going to share, but forgive me if I shouldn't, Zabchan. One of the things that she told me when she sent me the message saying that I should show this is she based Fancy Pants' outfit on a Civil War era style of clothing, as like an officer uniform. And what was it? What else was it I was going to say? Forgot it. But anyway, that was one of the things that really drew me to it was just that. She also said that Rarity's design was based, off of what was seen in the episode. But to me, I think what helps is, I think if I recall right, she said she added a little flair to Rarity's outfit, and to me, I think it works wonderfully. Twilight is Magic, I gotta agree with you on that one. Good humanization, I concur. Something else that I want to share, I really like the way she framed this. Having two specific but different points in time. One of them acting as the frame, and one of them acting as the scene itself. What do I mean by this? Fancy Pants and Rarity on the outside, in the bigger versions, act, of course, the first moment where they first see each other. And the innermost part is where they're conversing, or little time has passed after it. I like this. I like the way she framed it. There's the picture. Zabchan's A Fancy Reunion. We have 2 bits of art left here, folks. Don't worry, I've got a comic for you with words. But before that, this one is someone I've shown before. It's been a while, though. This is titled MLP, You Are a Princess, You'll Play Your Part by Abby C26. Rain Shadow. Does I needs to throw you out the window again? Anyway, back to this piece. Quote, I worked on a new style of my pieces, just putting more detail in the pieces and making the eyes a bit different. And I must say I like the way this piece came out. Still improving, though. Yada, yada, yada. I love all the princesses from the show. Cadence is my favorite. That's why she's in the center. The song, You're a Princess, You'll Play Your Part, was the inspiration. So enjoy. End quote. I've shown her work on here before, and I'll say what I said about that again. One of the reasons I really like her pieces is she does a very nice job of combining an anime style with humanized MLP characters, and this one being no exception. It's bright, it's colorful, very expressive with the features and the faces in particular. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to let this slip away. There's no way I'm going to let this one go without me showing it. Abby C26's MLP, you are a princess. You'll play your part. And finally, in the art, we have our comic. This is the penultimate comic of Frosty Cat 13's Cadence Gets a Makeover, Part 10. If you've never been on the show before, never seen it, prepare for what can only be described as ear rape. Hey, oh.
See? Everything is fine. Cadence looks great. Shiny thinks she looks great.
Whoa.
And I'm going upstairs.
Sorry, I forgot that part. Oh, no, you're not.
Twilight, even if you did it for the right reasons, you should still let us figure things out on our own.
Yeah, but you're not off the hook just yet. Wait till Mom hears about
Shining? There's no need for that. Is there?
Oh, fine, maybe not.
But it's still way past your bedtime. Come on, let's go upstairs. And I'm not... tired.
Twilight's hair came from a previous comic in this series, so if you want, check it out there. But yes. Quote, another page to celebrate the beginning of August. This one took forever to finish. Digital coloring looks quite a bit better than last time because I tried to make it look more traditional. Hope you guys like it. There should only be one more page after this. End quote. Frosty Cat 13's Cadence Gets a Makeover, Part 10. Forever. Good. Yeah, you caught the reference there. Alright, folks. As I said, we are done with the art. So now let's move on to the videos. Okay, why don't we go with this one first? This one's titled The Edge by Artem Yegorov. Artem Yegorov's The Edge. Un, deux, trois. All right. You know what? I'm going to sandwich it like that. I can do that. This next one is by someone new and something that I need to set the stage for. If I recall right, he released this first video during our short hiatus here when we were off for these 2 weeks. It might have been even before. But anyway, the point is that for some weird reason I never got around to showing this one. But he released a video earlier this week that I'll show later. So this first one I'm going to show is by EdPlus777, One Day with Princess Celestia. EdPlus777's One Day with Princess Celestia. Alright. This next one is a little bit longer, a little bit more imaginative. This one is titled Harmony's Ascent by Ponyphonic. So sit back and enjoy this one, folks.
It was always very loud back then. A great agitation issued from the ground itself, rising into the air and filling all with discontent and worry. Beneath us stretched a mad landscape of spots and checkers. Above twisted a kaleidoscope sky, and all between was ceaseless, unbroken chaos. Eventually, we grew callous to the clamor, and slipped from anxiety into malaise, shedding our passion and our purpose. It was thus that the two great sisters found us. From somewhere beyond the horizon they came, seeing beauty amidst the bedlam. They took up our sad world between them and tamed it, bending it to their will. And when the earth was ready, they looked to the sky, and there gave us their greatest gifts. The sun to light the day, and the moon to keep watch in the night. A celestial dance to order our moments, the slow heartbeat of our world. Two forces in perfect balance. This is our foundation. From this, all else follows. Dawn breaks through the darkened skies. We lift our heads and dry our eyes. When day is done, we're doubly blessed, with starry sky and moon for rest. No longer bound to hopelessness, we dance as one with nature now. The sun and moon will show us how. Restless was the world we knew, and cheerless were the days. Our colors run together in an endless mirror maze. And then two sisters brought us out of discord's dark caprice, and gave us lights to guide us into harmony and peace. Day for rising, night for sleep. As in heaven, so below. Chaos banish,
Ladies and gentlemen, Harmony is Sent by Ponyphonic. There's that. And last on our list, the reason I showed Celestia, One Day with Celestia, is because Ed Plus 777 released One Day with Princess Luna this week. And I figured it would be kind of stupid to not show Celestia and show Luna. But anyway, here it is. One Day with Princess Luna. One Day with Princess Luna by Ed Plus 777. And we are a little bit behind in terms of scheduling, but that's okay. Kind of sitting in a bit of an embarrassment here, folks. I don't have the episode up in the video player, so give me a moment to do that. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway.
Who could that be? It's still dark. Fluttershy! Cider season's about to start!
Where are we? What's the rush?
The rush? Don't you remember what happened last year? Or the year before that? Or pretty much any cider season ever? Pinkie Pie! She always ends up ahead of us in line, and then they always run out of cider!
I guess
Well, not this year! This year, I'm gonna get there before sunrise, so I can drink all the cider I want and laugh when she doesn't get any! It's the perfect plan! You know, I might even buy some cider and hold on to it for a while, drinking it drop by drop in front of her.
Gee, Rainbow Dash, looks like a few other ponies had the same idea. Oh, gosh, Pinkie, I love your new style.
Who are all these ponies?
Isn't this great? I couldn't sleep last night because I was so excited about cider season, and I had this brilliant idea to come down here and camp out, so I told a few others about it, and they all thought it was a great idea too, and now it's just a big old cider party! Woohoo! Oh gosh, that's a lot of ponies. Hope you don't run out before you get any.
My little pony, my little pony.
My little pony. I used to wonder what friendship could be. Until you all shared its magic with me.
Big adventure.
Tons of fun.
A beautiful heart, faithful and strong.
Sharing kindness.
It's an easy feat.
And magic makes it all complete. You have mine. Do you know you're all my very best friends?
Isn't this exciting, Spike? Opening day of cider season.
Yeah! That means it's only 30 more days till Sapphire season! Attention, every pony! Cider season is now officially open! Sorry, every pony. That's it for today.
Surprise, surprise! You ran out again!
Yeah, you always run out.
For the record, I don't mind.
Why can't you make enough cider for all of us? Or at least for me?
Hold on, every pony. We've done our best to improve supply this year.
You always say that.
And it's always true. But Apple Family cider is made with love and integrity, and only the highest quality apples in Equestria. Sorry, but that recipe takes time. If y'all just be patient, we'll have plenty more tomorrow.
She's right, you know. You can't rush perfection, and this year's batch was perfection. Pinkie Pie? I'll never forget the cider I just drank. It was a moment in time that will never exist again.
What in Equestria is that?
Well, looky what we got here, brother of mine. It's the same in every town. Ponies with thirsty throats, dry tongues, and not a drop of cider to be found. Maybe they're not aware that there's really no need for this teary despair.
And the key that they need to solve the sad cider shortage you and I will share. Well, you've got opportunity in this very community. He's Flam, we're the world famous Flim Flam Brothers. Travel and sales ponies
non-pare. That's exactly the reason why, you see. The pony elves in this whole place will give you such a chance to be where you need to be. And that's a new world with tons of cider, fresh squeezed and ready for drinking.
More cider than you could drink in all your days of thinking.
I doubt that.
So take this opportunity in this very community. He's Flam, we're the world famous Flim Flam Brothers. Traveling sales ponies non-parade.
I suppose by now you're wondering about our peculiar mode of transport.
I say a mode of locomotion.
And I suppose by now you're wondering, where is this promised cider?
Any horse can make a claim and any pony can do the same.
But my brother and I have something most unique and superb, unseen at any time in this big new world.
And that's opportunity.
Folks, the one and only, the biggest and the best.
The unbelievable.
Unimpeachable.
Indispensable.
I can't believable.
Flim Flam Brothers Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000.
What do you say, sister?
Oh, we got opportunity in this very community. Please Flam, help us out of this jam. We can Flim Flam Brothers Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000.
Young filly, I will be ever so honored if you might see fit to let my brother and I borrow some of your delicious, and might I add, spellbindingly fragrant apples for our little demonstration here?
Sure, I guess.
Opportunity in our community.
Ready, Flam, let's bing, bang, zam, and show these thirsty ponies a world of delectable cider. Watch closely, my friends.
The fun begins.
Now here's where the magic happens. Right here in this heaving, roiling, cider press boiling guts of the very machine. Those apples blood fresh are right now, as we speak, being turned into grade A, top-notch, 5-star, blow your horses off one-of-a-kind cider.
Feel free to take a sneak peek.
Now wait, you fellers, hold it. You went and oversold it. I guarantee that what you have there won't compare. For the very most important ingredient can't be added or done expedient, and it's quality brands of Lakers, quality and care.
Well, Granny, I'm glad you brought that up, my dear. I say I'm glad you brought that up. You see that we are very picky when it comes to cider, if you'll kindly try a cup.
Yes, sir, yes, ma'am, this great machine, it's just the very best. So what do you say then, apples? Get a step into the modern world and put the Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000 to the test.
What do you think, folks? Do you see what the apples can't? I see it clear as day. I know she does. So does he. Come on, Ponyville, you know what I'm talking about.
We're saying you've got opportunity in this very community. He's Flim with the world famous Flim Flam Brothers. Traveling sales ponies non-parade. Yeah!
You got a deal. Not so fast. No way, no how that machine matches up with the care we put in our cider. But if it really does work, we could make every pony in town happy.
I just don't know, y'all. We've always made cider the same way.
Yep.
Well, sweeten the deal. You supply the apples.
We supply the Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000.
Then we split those sweet, sweet profits. 75.
25.
Deal!
Hold on. Who gets the 75?
Why, us, naturally.
And we'll throw in the magic to power the machine for free.
Cider sales keep our business afloat through the winter. We'd lose sweet apple acres if we agree to this.
So, what'll it be? No deal.
Very well. If you refuse our generous offer to be partners, then we'll just have to be competitors.
You wouldn't dare.
Oh, no?
Don't you worry, every pony. There'll be plenty of cider for all of you.
Once we drive sweet apple acres out of business.
still worried about Flim and Flam?
Granny Smith says they were just blowing hot air. I'm not so sure. They sounded mighty serious when they threatened to run us out of business.
That's it! Last cup! Oh, for Pete's sake! Come on back tomorrow, every pony!
What seems to be the problem here?
Oh my, out of cider again?
What have we here? Who'd like a cup?
Don't worry, every pony. We've got the Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000 to make more in an instant.
You can't sell that cider. That's made from Apple Family apples. Is this some kind of cruel joke?
Don't worry, every pony. There are plenty of apples in Equestria. We'll find some others and make more cider than all of Ponyville can drink.
We'll make more cider than you could ever imagine! Now, it ain't about the speed, young'un. It's about quality.
Who cares how good the cider is if I never get to drinking?
Oh, look at these poor, dissatisfied ponies.
Ponyville is sweet apple cider country!
Our cider speaks for itself.
Let's put it to the test.
Anywhere, anytime. But that's enough now.
With our machine, we can make enough cider in 1 hour to satisfy this entire town.
We'll do it in 45 minutes. Easy, Apple Bloom, easy.
What's the matter, Granny Smith? Chicken?
What did you call me, Sonny?
If you're so confident in your cider, then what's the problem?
Tomorrow morning, right here.
But I'm afraid we haven't any apples.
You can use our sour field. It'll be worth it to teach y'all a thing or two about cider making.
Excellent. We have a bet. Whoever produces the most barrels in 1 hour wins the exclusive right to sell cider in Ponyville.
And after we beat you, I don't ever want to see you bamboozlers around here again.
Until tomorrow.
Don't worry, Applejack. I know you'll win tomorrow.
We better. Because if we don't, we're going to lose our farm.
Applejack, are you sure this is such a good idea?
Me and the family are 100% confident in our cider-making capabilities.
And besides, no pony calls Granny a chicken.
Attention, every pony!
Well, good luck.
Thanks, Twilight. We'll need it.
The teams have 1 hour to produce as much cider as they can. After which, the barrels will be counted, and the winner will be named the sole cider provider for all of Ponyville. Are both teams ready? Ready!
Ready?
Then let's go!
Great job, y'all. We
honorary family members allowed to help in the competition?
Well, I'm not sure. Flam, would you object to honorary family members helping?
Are you kidding?
We don't care if the whole kingdom of Canterlot helps. It's a lost cause.
I guess it's okay. Applejack, what do you think?
I think I'd love to have the rest of my family helping out.
All right! Okay, every pony, we're not gonna let those smooth talkers take our friend's farm. Yeah! Fluttershy, help Applejack with the trees. Got it. Pinkie Pie, you're on apple catching detail. Yes, sir, ma'am, sir. Rarity, you've got a discerning eye. Help Granny Smith at the quality control station. Of course. Rainbow Dash, do you think you can help Big Macintosh press? In my sleep. All right, every pony, let's save Sweet Apple Acres. All right! Over there, Apple Bloom! Don't miss them! Right behind you, Pink Pie! Lovely. Hurry, hurry! Lovely. Based on these figures, we're making 5 barrels for every 3 of theirs.
Keep it up, everybody! We're back in this!
Come on, brother. We've got to pick up the pace.
Right! Double the power!
We've got to try something else.
I've got it, brother of mine.
Well done, Flam. We're at top productivity.
Come on, Rainbow Dash. Keep grinding.
We don't have time for quality control if we want to win this thing!
Get back, you! One bad apple spoils that bunch!
Applejack, help me! There's no point in winning if we cheat.
We'll just have to work harder. Come on, every pony.
All right then, double time! Time's up!
I'm proud of you, Applejack.
Thanks.
Integrity like that will always be rewarded.
Flam and Flam win! We lost?
Aw, too bad, Apples.
Guess you'll just have to find a new line of work that doesn't match your names quite so perfectly.
Now, should we tear down all these tacky old buildings and put up new ones, brother?
I don't see why not, brother. After all, this isn't Sweet Apple Acres anymore. How about Flim Flam Fields?
I ought to press you into jerk cider! No, Rainbow Dash. A deal's a deal. Congratulations to y'all. The cider business in Ponyville is yours. Come on, Apples. Let's go pack up our things.
Fear not, every pony. There's more than enough cider to go around.
Go ahead, every pony. Go on, y'all. It's okay.
Drink up, Ponyville! Down the hatch!
Hey, can't get the taste off my tongue!
Mine's got rocks in it.
I wouldn't pay 1 cent for this drink. You wouldn't pay even 1 cent?
No!
How about 2 cups for 1 cent?
No!
2 bits for the barrel?
No!
It looks like we've encountered a slight problem here in Ponyville.
No pony wants our product. Next town?
Next town. Let's go, Flip.
Let's go, Flam.
They're gone.
That means Sweet Apple Acres is still in business.
Plus, we can have high-quality Apple Family cider.
Because of this silly competition, we've made enough of our cider for the whole town.
Dear Princess Celestia, I wanted to share my thoughts with you. Ahem. I didn't learn anything. I was right all along. If you take your time to do things the right way, your work will speak for itself. Sure, I could tell you I learned something about how my friends are always there to help me, and I can count on them no matter what. But truth is, I knew that already too.
The Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000. Alright, folks, you know the drill. Initial thoughts while I get a couple things set up here. Oh no, the best song's coming, Mr. Ben. But I digress. No, it's a little bit sooner than that, but we'll get there when we get there. Digress. You guys just like making fun of my accent, don't ya? Don't ya? Don't ya? What do you guys have to say about anything before the song, if there really is anything to say? I'll say that for the end, Twilight is Magic, because I do want to talk about that, at least in the sense of since you brought it up, since someone else brought it up. But let's say that when we get a little bit towards the end. I do want to... How so, Twilight is Magic? I'm just picturing my little human bit here. I've seen a few fair share of comics, fanfics, and the ilk that they things like It's Just Like Ours, a secret society, or it's their conventions to My Little Human or something like that. So yeah, the whole idea of I know what you're referring to, and I just can't help but giggle a little bit inside. True, but where are you going with this? Way I see it is it's nothing more than, bad experiences. She's trying to prepare to make sure that she actually gets some cider this year because some pony, some pink pony specifically, has to hog it all. And as we pointed out earlier when we got to that point, why don't they set a limit, like 2 drinks per pony or something like that? But where I'm going with concerns to RD is it's no wonder that she gets up early and tries to beat Pinkie Pie, albeit she fails. But yeah, that repetition to it, to me, says that's going to cause a deep frustration. That's going to cause an annoyance. That's, yada, yada, yada. Not fun, but it happens. To me, I don't think she deserved it, albeit I will say this. The purpose of that was just a running gag. Nothing more, nothing less. What do you guys have to say? All right, let's talk about the song now. What do you guys have to say about the song? Definitely have to agree with that one, Rain Shadow. The idea of it's from The Music Man, and at least that song bit is a homage to it. Yeah, Biffer, 1999. You'll understand it kind of if you keep coming back to this. The best way of explaining this is I don't sit up here and just chat forever. I want you to actually tell me what you think. And yeah, I'll present questions, try and answer them, and then I might answer my own questions. That's how we work here. But anyway. Hi, Vice. Something that, I'll say that for when we get toward the end as well. Yeah, I really do like this song. Let's make no mistake about that. And I do think it is honestly one of the more underrated songs that's ever of the pony fandom. Most people, of course, they go after Winter Wrap-Up, Smile, 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 This Day. And, we could start going on further and further. Probably, what's another one I could use? You'll Play Your Part. Let the Rainbow Remind You. On and on. As you can tell where I'm going with this, these are perhaps the most popular songs, and certainly the ones that I personally have heard the most remixed, parodied, or otherwise used in fandom work. This one, on the other hand, I have not heard a single No, I take that back. I've heard only a very small amount. And to me, that's kind of sad because this is a great one, and I would think it would be a good one for parody, especially with the cider, cider, cider bit. Maybe that's it, Rain Shadow. Maybe that's the maybe that's just it. Is the others, some of the other the more popular ones are because they're easier to work with, they're more familiar with the artist. And yeah, stylistically speaking, that certainly is true. This one is an oddball, so maybe that's it. As in, they don't want to touch it. Smith. I've heard of several songs butchered in various ways. Heck, there's a song on the failed one from Some Pony to Watch Over Me by, who was it? Darn it, I can think of the artist, or I can see the artist and I can see the video, but I can't think of the person's name. Darn it. But the point is I've heard a remix song based off of Nicholas Dominique, that's who. He did the failed We're Gonna Make My Sister See song. He made an entire remix out of those 2 lines of lyrics. So like I said, the fact that this one, the Cider song, hasn't been done the way it is, isn't out of the realm of possibilities. So I think your older point about it being a case of it's unfamiliar territory and no one wants to touch it is perhaps the better explanation. Best song of season 4. Anyway, let's move on to how do I know where this? Yeah, I guess we can ask about that. What do you guys have to say about the Flim Flam Brothers? Gotta agree with you on that one, Twilight's Magic. In a slightly off way, and I'll get there when I start. Can't argue with that, Twilight's Magic. I wouldn't even call it robber capitalism in so much as just shady, dishonest business practices. I suppose I'm splitting hairs here, but I digress. What I love about these guys is the fact that I love to hate these guys. Yeah, this is one of those very rare, very few instances, and coming from all places here, that in general, and I mean outside of MLP included, I love these guys because I love to hate these guys. Shady business practices. They put on such a charm with their, first of all, the music number and just their personalities alone. They are so underhanded, it's not even funny. There's very little things that are subtle with them, at best. So here we have these antagonists who are just that. And first of all, when it comes to antagonists, you're generally supposed to hate them, qua hate them, such as whether it be Discord the villain, Diamond Tiara, or Tirak. You're supposed to go, grr, I hate this person. But these guys, on the other hand, that charm, it falls under, how can I really hate these guys? I should hate them, but there's a certain charm to them. So yes, I do like these guys quite a bit. Dark 92 Enigma. And yeah, something I never thought of, but at least not at this point in the game, but I think is worth pointing out is, as Mr. Ben said, they're recurring villains. Not necessarily major world-destroying villains, but villains nonetheless. And yeah, well, they're one of the few recurring ones in this show. Mm-hmm. Sorry about that. Underhanded business comedy. We'll return after these messages. Oh, Ed, Ed, and Eddie for with ponies. Hey, Mr. Ben? Spin off. I thought of something, but I'll save it for the end when we start talking about business practices, since everyone else seems to. But let's talk about the competition itself. So this is after the song, after they've agreed to do the competition, or yeah, to do it, but now let's talk actually about it. What do you guys have to say? It really does, Mr. Ben. Can you elaborate on that if there's anything more to? You must construct additional pylons. I'll say this for now, and it probably would be a good time to state it. This entire episode is based upon the legend of John Henry. For those of you who have never heard of it, it's an American legend, so I'm not sure how far out this one has gotten in terms of outside of America. But the story of John Henry is just like the one we just saw. It's man versus machine in the sense of who can compete better, with less fatal results. But the legend of John Henry goes is it was him versus a steam drill who could lay the most railroad track. And just like the story here, it's a matter of there's quality and a certain spirit, you could say, in man that is not present in machines. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, Twilight is Magic. Yep, J.E. Smith, that's same story. Yeah, the technology is really strange in their world. I digress. A couple of things I want to mention about the competition. First of all, yes, this is the first incident where Dr. Hooves has been mentioned in the, or at least directly referencing Doctor Who, the show itself. In this case, the 10th Doctor, David Tennant. Given we just came off of the Derpy episode, the fiasco itself at the time didn't happen. It wasn't in full swing. That's what I'm trying to say. It would take about a month before that happened. Anyway, we just got done with the Derpy episode, and now we get this. Talk about being on a roll, if you ask me. And yeah, I'm just kind of reading some of these other remarks here. So yes, there's a and before I go on, yes, there's a Doctor Who fan. That was awesome. And of course, we'll see another one a little bit further down the road. Anyway, the one thing I want to say about the competition is, and this is going to kind of lead into another point I need to state first. Folks, is this and remember how you guys were complaining about, legitimately, how you didn't like my use of the word music episode or a non-music episode or whatever. So I'll ask it in the way you guys requested in a new format. Is this a song dominant episode or a content dominant episode? Now, for those of you who don't know, a song dominant episode is an episode that you remember the song for. Winter Wrap Up would be an example, at least in the general sense. A content dominant episode is the reverse, wherein there is a song, but the content itself is more memorable, such as Sweet and Elite. So which one do you guys think this one is? Really? Huh. So then it would be a song dominant episode, Mr. Ben. But there's a difference between it being the content narrative and what you remember the most. Okay, I see where you're going. Huh. Interesting, actually, Rain Shadow. Yes, I am genuinely surprised by everyone's reactions here. I'm going to go against the grain because, believe it or not, I do think it is a song-dominant episode. And the reason for that is most people that I do talk about this, first thing that comes out of their mouth, cider, 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 cider. And if anything, yeah, I do feel that in some respects, it's a lot of the content, especially the content after it, is overshadowed by the song. So that's why I'm going to say it's a song-dominant episode. True. Dark 92 Enigma. We'll get there when we get there. Twilight is magic. But yeah, I'm seeing some good answers here. Interesting answers that it falls under. Nothing wrong with what they said. But it's not the substance that I'm after in terms of the song. It's the memorability. Which one do you think left the biggest memory to you? Like I said, if I were to say, Winter Wrap Up, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're probably going to start singing the song. Likewise with, if I said Super Speedy Cider Squeezy 6000, the first thing you're going to do is what? If it's sing, then it's the song dominant. If it's something else, then it's content dominant. I know it's not the greatest way of looking at it, but again, it's just a matter of stating it again. And I know you guys are probably going to say the same thing again, but I'm just trying to clarify. Maybe that's it, Twilight is magic. Must have cider. But this leads me into my next point of during the competition. I have to say that because what was it I was going to say about it? Oh yeah, it was just merely. I guess I can't even say that anymore because you guys are going to disagree with me, and therefore it might be a bit erroneous. But let's go back to the competition. I'm sorry for jumping around like that. But let's go back to the competition. To me, the best part about the competition bit lays in when the other 5, not including Applejack in this case, step in to ask and help. I always thought that at this point in the game, given how long we've been here, a season and a half, and the stuff we've seen them do, I've always liked the way it was worded. Do honorary family members count? End quote. And even though at that scene it was just meant as a ploy to get the other 5 into the competition, I like to think that there was, at the very least, a hint of genuineness, I suppose would be the better word, of genuineness to those words, that these 6 have been through so much that to call them a family, not friends anymore, has some meaning to it. That part always just stuck with me quite well. Yeah, pretty much Twilight is magic. Well, there is some truth to that, my brony side, and we'll get there when we get there. And heck, just like a family, they've got opposing sides, character differences, problems, strife, victories, good moments. Now you say that's confined to friends as well. True, but anyone who has a good friend knows how they don't really feel like friends anymore. They feel like family. Through hell and back, they have come. And to hell and back, they will go with you. Maybe so, Ice Sticker. Maybe so. Like, I even mentioned that, but, and yeah, one of the nice things about it is they get in legally. They ask the brothers, can we enter? And they say, yeah. They didn't even really cheat. No one really even cheated. I wouldn't even say anyone cheated this episode or during that competition. They ask. They were given permission. They were falling behind, so they sped up production. How is that cheating? Exactly as Rain Shadow just said right there. Anything else? And to be fair, Mr. Ben, that was the point of the competition. It wasn't quality, it was quantity. If I can use the SpongeBob episode again, where he competes with King Neptune over who can cook the most burgers, or I guess they don't really even call them Krabby Patties in that episode. But anyway, whoever can cook the most burgers would win the competition. And the SpongeBob episode follows the very same format as this one. It was quantity, not quality. And in the end, SpongeBob won out in spite of him losing the competition proper. Just like that, something I want to note about this episode is, as harsh as this is going to sound, people, I actually kind of like the fact, and there are two reasons for it. I like the fact that the Apple family loses. There's one point that I'll get to shortly, but the first part that's important is it's nice to see them do something and not win. In storytelling, winning and losing is a difficult thing to write. Nobody likes, there's a saying that I've personally coined. We enjoy happy endings, humans. We enjoy happy endings because we don't need to be reminded of how harsh reality is. Likewise, when we get all of these stories about our heroes, whether they be here or anywhere, we want to see them succeed because it's investment. We're investing our time and sometimes money into watching someone go from point A to point B to point C, yada, 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 to the end. And we want them to succeed for one reason or another. Certainly, of course, it's who wants to invest in a loser? Yeah, I thought so. That being said, especially in a slice of life episode or series like this, having them win every time gets old. So to have even one instance of our hero losing a competition like so is a really nice change of pace. And in terms of a storytelling aspect, the great thing about this is you can have them lose and yet still win at the end of the day. Again, falling back on the SpongeBob SquarePants episode I was just talking about. SpongeBob loses the competition, yet he ultimately keeps the wager on that was he had to give up fry cooking forever. In this one, in the SpongeBob episode, he lost the competition because he only cooked one patty, but he made it with love and care. And King Neptune, when he tasted the patty, liked it so much that he admitted defeat to SpongeBob's superior tasting patty. And SpongeBob kept his job. Likewise here, and this leads into the second point, let's talk about competition, folks. You guys seem to keep talking about business practices, so let's stop beating around the bush. What do you guys have to say about all of that? No, I'm not looking forward to this part, people, because I can promise you if you look hard enough, you're going to see a lot of shades about me you are going to hate. Interesting. Ah, but then you'd have to pay them Twilight is Magic. In the long run, but you have to look at it in the short run as well. Because if your short run nearly bankrupts you, it might not be worth investing in. And yeah, as Rain Shadow's pointing out here, dark. Truth be told, my brony side, and this is for everyone, believe it or not, folks, in spite of their society being far more primitive than ours, I wouldn't be shocked if one day the ponies' society reaches our level. Now, we're never going to see that, and I'm going to bet good money, unless we show one millennium further, like whether one episode or an entire series that's, you know, a millennium, 10,000 years later. Unless we see something like that, I don't think we're going to be seeing... where am I going with this? In terms of them catching up to us in a machine standpoint, it's going to take them a long time. But I do, honest to goodness, see Pony Society reaching us at some point. Not even necessarily their Twilight is Magic. We have there are lights in the very first episode. You know, light bulb lights. We have, as far as we know, automated sewing machines. We have, oh, what else? Well, you're seeing the point. So, where am I going with this? What Mr. Who was it who said? My brony side. That's what I was trying to get at. One day, I wouldn't be shocked if they have some sort of production line or machines that eventually overwork a physical being. Mm-hmm. Smith, yep. That might be because of poor transportation and delivery methods, Rain Shadow, but yeah, that certainly is. We have my brony side. Just seeing if anything else is going to come in first. You know, I've actually wondered that too, Alicorn, Texas boy, believe it or not. And I'm not sure how that would work. But there's a difference between being unable to, but because you don't have the means, and being unable to because some force, the government, says so, Rain Shadow. And yeah, that's actually a point I want to bring up here, Twilight is Magic. There's... how do I want to put this? Technology always fits the being who uses it. So, and yes, this is one of the things that I find... there are some things that I do find rather strange when it comes to the technology in this universe. Even something like a park bench. And I'll use that as an example here. Some of the technologies you'll notice within the MLP universe aren't really designed very well for ponies. Again, let's look at the park bench. Wouldn't it make more sense that since they would lay down a little bit more, that it would be there would be no backrest to it? Or wouldn't there be a spot for them to, you know, a little bit bigger so that they could actually lay on it? Or how about light switches? Shouldn't those be a little bit more on the floor so that they can, you know, simply adjust and they don't have to reach up? How about things to grasp with, like, I don't know, feather dusters? Especially for non-unicorn types. Wouldn't there be some little slip that they could slip their hoof into and then go for it? And obviously we've seen them use their mouth, and that works too. But you're starting to see my point here, that, yeah, as Tim is pointing out here, Equestria has progressed far enough to have heavier than airplanes. They just don't need them because they have natural flight capabilities, like the Pegasi, or obviously, of course, we've seen the ponies outlast in terms of a physical prowess. So the technology to fly, in the sense of, for say, non-Pegasi, is not needed. Now, if some pony were to come along and either invent a motor that would eventually lead to the airplane that can fly faster than a Pegasus, or just flat out make a machine like a primitive airplane that would eventually lead to an airplane that could outfly a Pegasus would happen. The only possible way that that can't happen is if some force were to prevent them. In essence, you would either have to wipe out intelligence, or you'd have to wipe out the ponies themselves to do that. And yeah, Twilight is magic. I concur. In some respects, these ponies are not purely from our world in the sense of ponies. There are definite anatomical differences and physiological differences as well, such that they are able to achieve things and do things that real world ponies can't do. Mm-hmm. So now I want to kind of talk, and we were going way over time here, and I apologize for that for anyone. But, let's see here, what do I want to say? If there's one thing that I've learned, or at least observed, when it comes to this world, people, societies advance. Always. There will always be someone who moves from some boxcar to our streamlined ones that we use today. From planes that can only fly for 13 seconds to those that can circle the globe in 16 hours. We do that because we want to make our lives easier. Technology is not an enemy. It always and can only seek to get better, because the bad will be experimented on and flushed away. Whereas in the good remains. Call it what you want. Look at me sitting here talking with you. Do you think even 10 years ago this would be a possibility? At best, I suppose it could be. But I'll tell you what, though, probably would be far difficult. Lord knows if it would even be possible. But you're starting to see my point here, that their technology will advance, always and forever. All technologies are inherently neutral. It is their application that makes them good or evil. And this leads into a next point here, Mr. Ben. The only possibility that you cannot have technological advancement is if there is a force suppressing it. And even that's really difficult. But, yeah. One wonders why she would in the first place, but I digress. This leads me to my next point, and last point before we get to the episode wrap-up. You guys talked about the Flim Flam Brothers' shady business practices. Let's talk about that now. The former J.E. Smith. The latter's always been possible, or at least possible ever since this show came on the scene. Albeit we could do the same with the previous generations, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. I agree with all of you here. Something I want to throw out here, and this is really me throwing it out here. Something I want to mention. Notice how you guys are making all the right points here. That they were, how do I want to word this? What's funny is you say they were greedy and didn't think about the Apple's side of it, and that is correct. But the different angle I want to make is the fact that I don't think they were aware that without the apple farm, they would have no cider. But I think it was, as someone pointed out earlier, they said, I wouldn't be shocked, quote, wouldn't be shocked if they ride into town, a whopping and a whooping every, wrong script, I'm sorry. They ride into town thinking swindle and grab everything that they can and split town. Which is kind of funny because that's not good business practices. They were all they were really doing was just tearing things down. And to this, I want to leave a quote for everyone. Competition is a byproduct of productive work, not its end goal. The creative man is motivated by the desire to achieve, not tear down others. End quote. Twilight is magic. That's actually that's a good way of putting it. Twilight is magic. Socioeconomic equivalents of locusts, parasites. Really good ones at that, but yeah, I know locusts aren't parasites, but work with me here for a second. So what do you guys have to now say about the episode overall? I think we've said all we can about this. Let's move on here. Now, I wouldn't even say parasites. I'm sorry. I should. Yeah, I think just locusts, predators, or I guess. No, they aren't predators. They're herbivores. You're right, Tim. I'm just going to drop it. Socioeconomic equivalent of locusts. End of story. Tim. To me, that's half the fun of it, Rain Shadow. Can't argue with that, Tim. Overall, this is a pretty darn good episode. I do like this one. My only real complaint about it is, in comparison to other episodes in this season, nothing really jumped out at me. So it's just, I have no real complaints about it. But in the sense of, does this one make my top 10? I wouldn't say so. That being said, it's a fantastic rainy day episode. And just because it might not be in my top 10, folks, doesn't mean I hate this. In fact, I love this episode. Hold the mustard. Give me ham on 5, hold the mayo. We'll get there when we get there, Alicorn, Texas boy. Don't worry. That comes later. That's fine. Just because it's not in my top 10 doesn't mean it can't be in your guys's. All right, you guys want me to talk about that one? Fun fact about this one, this lesson actually. Originally scripted, there was no lesson to be written for this one. We'll get there when we get there. So when asked to make one, Larson submitted this one, the one that we got, and he was actually pleasantly, or not even pleasant, he was just surprised that it made it through. Now, in terms of the lesson itself, I like the way this is presented because of one way, and one way only. Well, okay, not only, but one of the reasons that I like the way this lesson was presented was the fact that it's not so-and-so learns something, it's so-and-so defends her point. And before I get to the whole joke about the troll bit, or the, smart aleck remark on her behalf, again, it's just something to think about. AJ already knew it. She already knew that if you take your time and actually try and produce quality, if even it takes time, or you can't keep up with demand, then that's still okay if you can justify it. But we haven't seen too many episodes where, as in the main protagonist here has to defend her point. It's a matter of they screw up and then learn from it, which is fine. But again, it's just an interesting observation. Now, in terms of the whole presentation of it, how unexpected was that? AJ, perhaps the most honest, straight, down-to-earth character in this show. And she's presenting one where she's saying, Dear Princess Celestia, I didn't learn a thing. Ha ha ha. Problem? Well played, Larson. Well played. true. Just because they didn't learn anything. Yeah. So would everyone else, Mr. Ben. So would everyone else. All right, I think we've reached the end here. So, on behalf of myself, Mr. Ben, and Twilight is Magic, we want to thank y'all for stopping by here. And next week, well, let's talk about next week, folks. I promised you an April Fool's Day episode, and I have been putting it off for so long just because it always fell on the back burner, to fall on the back burner, to fall on the back burner again. So next week, we are doing our April Fool's Day episode. Now, what is it, you might ask? Well, predictable, certainly. How does reviewing a very minty Christmas sound? Well, tough luck, because we're doing it anyway. Next week, we're reviewing the G3 movie. Yeah, it's a movie. A Very Minty Christmas. Stop on by if you're looking for just something different from the G4 ponies, because, you know, there is such thing as too much of them. No, that's just too mean, Vice. Technically, we'd still be in August, because it's going to be August 31st, Tim. Maybe, my brony side. Maybe someday in the future. But anyway, in the meantime, folks, farewell.